Too many people will buy a second dog based on emotion alone. This is not a way to go about it because there's so many things that you need to consider before you make this big decision. If you clicked on this video because you are considering getting a second dog, you have come to the right place. In this video, I'm going to be going over the pros and the cons of having 2 dogs versus 1. If you are new to the channel, quick backstory before we get started. My name is Rachel. I'm a golden retriever mom of 2. My golden retrievers are sisters, but they are not litter mates. They do share the same parents, but they are about 14 months apart in age. Our first dog, LARSEY, was not overly obsessed with other dogs, so we were very nervous about how she would respond to us getting her a little sister. Thankfully, to our surprise, she adapted very well, and she has loved our second dog since the moment that she saw her. It was so crazy to watch this motherly instinct just immediately come out of her, and that new puppy was now her baby. Unfortunately though, that's not always the case. It doesn't always go that smooth. So before you go and you bring another dog into your home, I'm going to give you a lot of really great things to really sit and think about before you make this decision. So to get started, let's first talk about the good, the pros. One pro of having 2 dogs versus 1 is you have double the love. If you are a dog owner, you know the love that a dog gives you is purely unconditional. I say it all the time, but they are the best therapists I have ever had. When you come home from work from a long day, if it was a crappy day and you are just over it, you're overwhelmed, you're sad, you're stressed out, the second you see their butt wiggling and their face so excited to see you, all that goes out the window. They really do make my day every single time that I see them, just by being themselves. A second pro is that they exercise each other. This is huge. No matter what you do, no matter what your job is, there's always going to be days that you come home and the last thing you want to do is go play. You are just exhausted, you want to chill, you want to hang out, but your dog is there and it's been waiting for you all day to come home so that you can spend some time with it. If you have a second dog, they now always have this other friend to exercise with them. This really comes in handy if you're really busy, really tired, or just really short on time. Playing is a vital part of a dog's life. It is crucial for their happiness, socialization, health, and overall development. Number 3, on top of that, they have someone to entertain them. Not only are they playing, but there's someone there for them to hang out with and spend time with. It is no secret that a mischievous dog is a bored dog. Your dog will not be bored if they always have someone to hang out with and to play with. Someone is always there to steal their toy. Someone is always there to play tug of war with. There's always someone there to chase their tail. The ways that they will entertain each other are endless. Them having a friend to always hang out with will make you feel less guilty on the days where you can't spend as much time with them as you would like. A 4th pro is that they are never alone. This really helps prevent anxiety. It is 2022 and more people are working from home. However, the majority of people are still going into work, and unfortunately, most people's jobs don't allow you to bring your dog to work. That means that unless you are hiring a dog sitter or you are taking them to doggy daycare, they are at home all day by themselves while you are working. Separation anxiety is a huge thing right now because more and more people are working from home. While most dogs will adjust to this, some dogs will not be able to grow out of it. So having another dog, another companion for them to hang out with at home could really help make a big difference here. A 5th pro is that it can make training a lot easier, especially if they are a little bit apart in age. It's nice to already have one dog trained basically the way that you want it to be so that it can teach the new dog how to act. In our case, it was super helpful that our first dog was already trained for the most part the way that we wanted her to act. So that way when we got our new puppy, of course we still have to teach her X, Y, and Z, but it is really amazing to see just how much she catches on just from watching the other dog. A sixth pro is that it can make potty training a lot easier as well. Dogs in general just typically do their business where other dogs have. So if your dog is going outside to go potty, the new dog will be able to smell that scent and understand that this is where they're supposed to be going potty. If your first dog is not going potty inside the house, that scent is not going to be there. So the new dog is not going to be picking up on it. A seventh pro is that it can make socialization so much easier because they're already used to being socialized with another dog every single day. This is a huge thing that we noticed when we went from one dog to two. When we first got LARSEY, our first golden, that was when the whole pandemic started. So she missed a huge important time in her life where socialization was really key. Getting our second puppy when things were more calmed down and closer back to normal, it made a big difference. Our second golden caught on to playing with other dogs way quicker than our first. Having a second dog to play with will help them learn how to play with other dogs and how to act around other dogs. And an eighth pro is that if you are adopting, you are saving 2 lives instead of just 1. But on top of that, you are also opening up space in the shelter for new dogs to come in. That sounds pretty convincing, right? Well, let's talk about the bad. Let's go over the cons. Con number 1, double the hair, double the cleanup. If your dog doesn't shed, this isn't really a big issue. However, most dogs do shed, and having a breed that is double coated, there is a lot of hair. So while yes, having 2 Goldens, I'm going to be cleaning up constantly, whether it's with 1 dog or with 2, but it does take longer. On top of the hair, there's double the droppings. It takes up double the time. Speaking of time, number 2, double the time to do basically everything. It takes twice as long to take them out, twice as long to feed them, twice as long to get them ready, twice as long to get them groomed, twice as long to brush their teeth, twice as long to clip their nails. The list goes on. Yes, of course, some of these things don't take up a ton of extra time. Feeding 2 dogs versus 1 really isn't that much of a big time difference, but even just my morning routine before I was going to work with 1 dog versus 2, I'm telling you, it does take more time. Con number 3, double the cost of everything. This might be an obvious, of course it's double the cost of everything, but really consider how many things are going to double in price when you go from having 1 dog versus 2. You now have double the vet bills, double the pet insurance cost, double the food price, double the training cost, double the grooming, double the poop bags, potentially double the pet fees while traveling, double the accessories, plus more. While yes, some things you do not need to double up on, there are the majority of things that you are going to need to double up on. Yes, they can share the same toys. Yes, they can share the same food. However, they're both going to be eating that food, so it's going to be used twice as fast as it originally would be. A 4th con would be less one-on-one time with your first dog. So this is really helpful if you are not a single pet parent because you have at least 2 people who are giving your dogs love. But if you are a single dog parent, this can make things a little bit more difficult, especially if you are more short on your time. It's something that I learned that I have to be really mindful of and really pay attention to how much time I'm spending with each dog. For example, my 1 dog is a therapy dog, my other dog is currently not yet. So when I was training my first dog to become a therapy dog, we were going out 2 hours a night, 6 days a week for weeks and weeks on end. That is a lot of individualized time that I was spending with the 1 dog versus my second. Fast forward to her now being certified, I'm also still spending more time with my first dog going out on therapy dog visits, so that means I have to make a conscious effort to make more time with my second dog to have that one-on-one time so that I'm making sure that she does not feel left out or like I love the first dog any more than I love her. A 5th con is that they can pick up each other's bad habits. So yes, having 1 dog trained and getting a second one is really helpful for the first one to learn. However, if the second dog has bad habits, they could potentially project those onto the first dog. For example, my second dog will bark. Not excessively, but she will definitely bark if something bothers her or if something is out of place. My first dog never really barked that much. So that is something that she sometimes will pick up from my second dog. If my second dog starts freaking out about something and barking at it, my first dog will also start to bark, even though she's not really sure what exactly she's barking at, but she will do it because the second dog is barking. The sixth con is that you may run into some sibling rivalry. Just like humans, they are going to be competing for attention, they are going to be competing for toys, they are going to be competing for your time. If your dog starts feeling these emotions of jealousy, they may start to act out because of these feelings. Con number 7, walks in training can become more difficult. The reason why I say this is because you now have 2 dogs who are at different obedience levels. This is something, even though my dogs are 2 and 1 years old, I'm still dealing with. When you have them both out in public at the same time, one dog acts one way and another dog acts a different way. That is really hard to pay attention and control 2 dogs at once, especially when I'm doing training sessions with them while we're walking. It's very hard to do that with both of them at the same time. So usually I will walk them separately, which means that it's taking twice the length of time to walk them. While you can train your dogs to heel together at the same time of walking, that's still something that we are working on. And the 8th con to getting a second dog, which is, I feel, the biggest con, is that you are now going to have to say goodbye twice. In my heart, in my mind, I tried to convince myself that my girls are genuinely going to live forever because I cannot bear the thought of them not being here. I genuinely view my dogs as my children, and I cannot imagine a world where they are not in it. I am aware that the reality is that I am likely to outlive them, but that doesn't help the fact that it completely breaks my heart anytime that I think about it. So hopefully now I have the wheels spinning in your brain and you're really doing a deep dive to consider if this is the best decision for you to make or not. Here are some questions that you really need to think about and consider right now before you really decide to make your decision if you're gonna get a second dog or you're just gonna stay with one. Number 1, think about the environment that you live in. How much size do you have? Do you have an area for them to play? Are you going to be moving soon? Is it friendly? Is it big enough to accommodate more than one pet comfortably? I can tell you firsthand that going from 1 dog to 2 makes your house feel so much smaller than it had felt before. Number 2, think about the capacity that you have to care for them. I'm talking time, I'm talking money, I'm talking about emotional, I'm talking about physically being present in their life. How much time do you really have to care for your first dog? And thinking about needing double that time for a second dog. Number 3, think about the pets that you already have in your home. Whether it's just one other dog or you have cats, you have a lizard, you have a frog, I don't know, whatever. Consider how they would feel with you adding another member to your family. Number 4, consider your breed. Some breeds of dogs do well with other dogs, while some do not. Some will prefer to have a companion, some will prefer to be alone. Consider this, research this before you make this decision. Number 5, consider this financially. And I'm not just saying the financial upfront cost of purchasing this second dog, I'm talking about the overall financial cost of you owning this dog for the entire length of its life. Whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, are you financially ready to be able to afford whatever that dog needs for the entirety of its life, on top of the dog or other pets that you may also already have? I understand that this may be a big pill to swallow, but if you're already struggling to financially pay for one dog, it is not the best idea to get a second one. Number 6, consider time. Time is super important. Do you have the time to really sit and train the second dog? Yes, the first dog will help train the second, but there's still a lot of one-on-one training that you are going to need to do with the second dog. Number 7, are you realistically healthy and fit enough to care for a second dog, and not just care for it as a puppy, but again for the length of its life. If you are already starting to see health issues and you're having more trouble getting around with just having one dog all by yourself, think about the entirety of this new dog's life. If this dog is going to be with you for 15 more years, are you going to be able to physically care for this dog 15 years from now? Number 8, how will this dog fit into your current lifestyle? How much do you travel? Are you someone who is working up the ladder at work and you're going to be home less and less? Think about if this is going to be fair for the second dog. This is not an easy decision to make. It is not one that should be taken lightly. There's so many things that you need to consider before you get a second dog. I hope that you found this helpful and insightful. Please feel free to like the video if you did enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are not already. I do post new videos every single Sunday, so I hope to see you right back here next Sunday for my next video. Bye guys.